What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live streaming today. The fallout continues, the European Super League, the debate goes on. It's difficult to keep up with the news at the moment. There's so many things going off, so many statements. Everyone's fighting everyone. You know, it's amazing what happens when the money is on the line, isn't it? It's turned into WrestleMania, you know, out there between UEFA, FIFA, and this Super League as well, man. You know, if only they cared this much about everything else. Big up everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're well. Yeah, we'll talk about Matt Ryan, of course, as well. Man are ready to change the laws to keep hold of the money and power. You see. All going off. James said, I've boycotted merchandise and paying for games for years because they're all greedy business and not about our club. That's why they need a puppet like Arteta. I mean, yeah, I've spoken about that a few times. You know, why did they hire him? The first Pep knew was just before the statement was released. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. Football was a working man's game. Now it's for the rich prawn sandwich brigade. It's been moving like that for a long time, man, unfortunately. Gunman Khan. Yo, Ayo, Big C Wagwan, everything good. Big up Curtis, respect Ben. Happy to start the day in the US with some Curtis Shaw. Big up, man. Big up Michael Cardona. FUAFA and FIFA as well. Listen, what up, Curtis? Big up Infamous Mob. And Rag said, Curtis, stop supporting these. Well, listen, it is what it is, isn't it, people? Listen, it developed more yesterday. Florentino Perez did an interview yesterday where he spoke about the Super League. And big up Eduardo who covered it. I'm just going to quickly go through some of the quotes. I'm not going to cover all of it. He translated it all for us. And I'm just going to go through a few of the quotes, what he said for you guys. Florentino Perez says, we've designed an innovative and revolutionary tournament. That is why the same teams that compete in the Champions League will be here. He was asked if he feared the threats of FIFA and UEFA. He said, football has changed. Change was needed. Something had to be done. He said, we created the Super League to save football. I mean, that's a little bit ironic. I think a lot of people are saying he's done this more to save Barcelona and Real Madrid due to their financial difficulties that they've been going through. But anyway, he said the Super League will be open. There are 15 clubs that attract the most viewers who will have a permanent spot. 5 clubs will enter every year based on sporting merit. So at the moment, they're saying 5 can earn their way into it. I'm sure they'll reveal details of how you qualify through your leagues. And I'm sure in the future, they will have to expand that. The Champions League has done nothing to change football as of late and make it survive. This move had to be done. We are living in critical times. He said, UEFA's Champions League format will not work. It hasn't convinced anyone within the football world. He said, all the clubs will remain the same. This competition is being made separate. The Premier League is impossible to change. If the bigger clubs are stronger, then the rest of the teams will be stronger. I'm not too sure about that because if the bigger clubs have got more money, then they can just bully the smaller clubs. I think the biggest problem, and this is probably one of my biggest issues with this Super League, is that you're going to have a situation where unless the only things that are going to matter in the Premier League will be the team that wins it and the teams at the bottom who get relegated. If you're 5th with 10 games to go and you're 8-9 points behind, you're going to say, what's the point stressing ourselves to get in the top 4? We're in the Super League next year. And, why are we going to stress to finish 4th in the Premier League? We're not going in the Champions League anyway. So this is where I think it compromises domestic leagues because you can just say, let's not worry about it. Unless we win it, nothing really counts. So, yeah, it's crazy in that sense. He said the Super League will be interesting the whole season, unlike the Champions League, which only starts getting good after the quarterfinals. He said they haven't spoken to PSG, Bayern Munich or Dortmund yet. There were a lot of reports that those 3 clubs had rejected proposals. Perez says they haven't been spoken to yet. He goes on to say, we don't have time to tell all of those criticizing that the league is not to save a few, but to save football in general. People are being misinformed. The media are creating chaos based on lies. I would like to emphasize that life has changed. There must be new ideas. If we don't change, football will stop. The future of football is in play right now. He said he will be the president of the Super League until they fire him. He said there will be an overhaul to VAR. There will be better referees. And he said none of the clubs that are founders were hard to convince. He said we were working on this for a long time, over 2 years, but the pandemic has accelerated everything. All of the clubs signed the agreements on Saturday. We all felt very convinced that this is the right step forward. The English clubs spoke between them to come into their decision. We will select the best referees in the world. And he goes on to say the football clubs and their leaders have lowered their salaries to be able to continue working through the pandemic. I'm sure the leaders of UEFA and the FAs have not. So he's firing a few shots there. And, I mean, he goes on to say we will be able to watch the best games in the world football every 2 days every week without compromising the leagues. He was asked, will Real Madrid now sign Mbappe? And he said, be calm. And he said they're not interested in re-signing Ronaldo. Listen, interesting quotes. I think we know most of it. It's very mixed. What I will say is a lot of people are fighting back. You know, I've just seen a report that Jordan Henderson wants a meeting with every Premier League captain to make their point known that the players don't want it. Jurgen Klopp said yesterday that he wasn't informed about the Super League until we all found out. Pep Guardiola's done an interview saying he found out just shortly before he was told at the last minute. And as you can see in the title of this video, Mikel Arteta is saying that he and the players didn't know. Apparently, Vinay had a meeting with the Arsenal players yesterday to inform all the players what's happening now. Why would you only tell your employees about this after it's happened? I don't understand that. Surely you would have sat down last week. I suppose the problem was they wouldn't have wanted it to have been leaked. As he said, the deals were signed on Saturday. If they'd have told the players on Wednesday, I'm sure they would have told someone who would have leaked it on social media and it would have caused uproar. So they're only thinking about themselves in that sense. DW said, big up Curtis. Kroenke didn't invest any money on Arsenal before now. In this new league, he definitely won't spend a penny because regardless, he will be getting paid. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it, that Stan Kroenke hasn't invested a penny into Arsenal, not 1 penny out of his own pocket. And yet he's managed to wriggle his way to get Arsenal back to the top table, which, listen, you know, is great for Arsenal, of course, but it's just mad the way he's done that. We're actually a fading football club under this owner, and somehow he's got us back to the top. I mean, can you imagine what he's thinking right now? He's wriggled his way out of everything. Big up Harold Everett. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. He said, what hurts the most is that Chelsea City will go to win. We will join just for money and won't have any aim to win the competition. Kroenke out. And you're right in that sense. I can't see Arsenal. I mean, can't see. We are not going to win this competition. You know, we are not going to win this competition. So we're going in there to make up the numbers, to hype up fans, to sell more merchandise. Ebby said the rich get richer. Let me be honest with you. I'm going to be totally honest. I will always keep it 100, especially on my own channel. Do you know what I mean? I'll always give you the truth. I'm at a point with this. If it happens, which I think they've got a lot of obstacles to overcome because, you know, Boris Johnson now, he's talking about court cases. There's lawyers popping up everywhere now. Someone said here, I don't know where that comment is. Apologies. Someone said, will you still, can you actually support the team if we go down this route? I'm keeping it 100. I will still support the team. And I will still go to games. That's just me being honest, people. At the end of the day, it's not down to me what happens at this football club. And a lot of things have happened in football that I don't agree with, but we still follow football. Do you know what I'm saying? And I know this is a huge thing, massive. But as I said, the people running football, when have they ever cared about morals, cared about being right, cared about fans? You know, I saw this massive thing from Rio Ferdinand yesterday, And I spoke about this yesterday. Rio Ferdinand chatting about the fans. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. When the Champions League was on ITV in England, and we all watched that for free, and BT bought the rights, took it to BT, took pundits like Ferdinand, like Gary Lineker, took them all over to BT and said, right, even if you've got Sky, you've got Virgin, any type of thing, we're going to charge you an extra 20, 25, 30 pound a month to watch it. And Rio Ferdinand and Gary Lineker and all these guys went over there to BT. Did you hear Gary Lineker or Rio Ferdinand say, do you know what? This ain't fair that Champions League has been free to watch for all these years, and now we're going to charge you £25 a month to get BT Sport on your TV. No, he didn't. He didn't care. Let me tell you why he didn't care, because he had a big fat check in the bank. Yeah, and he didn't care about that. You know what I mean? ITV Champions League nights were the best. They were the best. Rio Ferdinand didn't care then. Neither did Gary Lineker, because they had a big boy check in the bank. Now, Gary Neville all of a sudden is the spokesperson for every football fan in the world now. And he's getting praised left, right and centre. Oh, Gary Neville, we love the passion you're speaking with. He was involved with the England team as a coach. When Raheem Sterling was being racially abused, did he go on Sky and give a passionate talk like that? Okay, it didn't affect him directly. I understand that. But he didn't stand there and go, listen, man, this is disgusting. We should boycott. We should get lawyers. You know, Boris Johnson's talking about solicitors and court cases. No, he didn't care about that. You know, he didn't care when they said pay-per-view during a pandemic, people losing their jobs left, right and centre. People are on furlough, losing their jobs. These men are going, right, £15 to watch Burnley against West Brom. Did any pundit care? I get it. It's your job, innit? I understand. I do understand their situation. If you work for Sky, not too many people are going to come out and diss the guy they work for. I get it. But what I'm saying, these guys want to jump on the morality train when it suits them. Or right now, because that might affect them, they want to speak up about it. When they don't get affected by it, they can just sit there quietly and let it go. That's my issue, bro. That's my issue. You know, they talk when it suits them. And brother, I'm keeping it 100. I'm just keeping it 100. And let's be honest. Let's talk the truth here, people. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk the truth. This is an open discussion. Do you think next season, if this goes ahead next season, and Arsenal are playing Barcelona, PSG, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Manchester City, do you think there will be empty seats at the Emirates? Because I don't. I think every single game will be a sellout. Because once the dust settles and this situation happens, if it gets through all of these obstacles, fans will sit there and go, you know what? In reality, it's wrong what's happening, but I still support my football club. Do you know what I'm saying? In the early 90s, when Division 1 changed to the Premier League and Carlin was sponsoring it, eventually it was Barclays who sponsored it. Everything changed. There was uproar. Sky got hold of it and Sky said, right, we're going to charge you to watch these games every month. People said, this is ridiculous. You can't do that. As time goes on, that becomes the normality. We're all paying to watch football through cable and Sky and BT, ESPN. We're all paying. It becomes normal. Do you know what I mean? So I just think that there will be uproar. And we're all fuming about it. But the unfortunate reality is we'll be there. We'll be, whether we're at the ground, whether we're watching it on TV, are you not going to be excited if Arsenal score? You're still going to celebrate because they know that football is ingrained in football fans. I guarantee hardly anyone will be walking away from football. And it's difficult and it sounds harsh. And someone says there, you're being a hypocrite. I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm not being a hypocrite because I don't agree with BT charging £25 a month to watch Champions League. But guess what? I still want to watch Champions League. So we're going to have to pay for it to watch Champions League. Unless you've got other means, of course. You know what I'm talking about, people, of watching football elsewhere. So the reality is that the emotional attachment is too much. And they know that. They know that. So you can say I'm being a hypocrite. But this is just reality, people. It's just reality. 60,000 people will be sitting on seats in the Emirates during those games next season. And that's a fact, I'm telling you, because even if I sell my ticket, do you know how many people are waiting to buy that ticket? Big up Sladin Nunes. Thank you for your super chat. Says, Curtis, let's be honest. Arsenal would have kept sliding away, but somehow we are back to the top with this Super League. I'm all in, to be very honest. And listen, do you know what? There's a lot of uproar. But there are people who support it as well. I'm telling you, you know. He did come out to defend Raheem, but what I'm saying, bro, the passion of everyone is not the same. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing government now talking about it. Government. Boris Johnson, a man who never talks about football, is putting out interviews talking about football. Why do you think that is? Because the UK government gets millions and millions, or probably billions of pounds through Sky, the FA, UEFA, all of this. He's just worried because money's being moved out of their pockets. Do you know what I mean? Big up School Fuggerim. Big up, bro. Appreciate the chat, bruv. He said, I started supporting in 2000 and cried losing the 2006 Champions League final. The day of one day avenging that loss has been the backbone of my love for the club. So now we'll literally never win it. I'm done. It's crazy, isn't it, bro? It is mad. You know, it's crazy. We've never won the Champions League and we will probably never win it. Apparently, the clubs have signed a 23-year contract. 23 years to be in this competition. I don't see it going away. Big up the real captain, man. He said, big up Curtis, driving home, listening to the great content as always. Appreciate your support, bruv. Wilson said, yo, Curtis, I hope that you are staying safe and doing well. I'm good, bro. DV said, so Big C, you're willing to put more money in these greedy owners' pockets? Bro, it's the reality. It's the absolute reality. I'm sorry. And I know some people will be disappointed to hear me talking like this, right? I'm not for 1 minute saying we have to like it. We have to agree with it. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then you've got the choice. What do you do? What do you do after that? All right, I went to Arsenal-Tottenham a few years ago. You guys will remember the game. Aubameyang scores the penalty, gets a banana thrown at him against Tottenham. What happened to Tottenham for doing that? What happened to Tottenham? There's kids inside that stadium who know nothing about racial issues and things like that. They're seeing somebody throw a banana at a footballer. That's on the back page of the papers. What happened to Tottenham? I think the guy got banned from going to the games. What else happened? There wasn't uproar. You know, this is happening in English. There wasn't. But what happens? If Tottenham are playing Man United or Arsenal, North London Derby, I guarantee every Arsenal fan watches it. We're not saying, you know what, Tottenham did that. We're not watching them ever again. So we can't, I always say you can't point fingers with dirt on your hands. Do you know what I'm saying? We've all, whether we like it or not, abided to this kind of immoral, money-grabbing sport. This isn't the start of the money. This European Super League ain't the start of, you know, football's been a morally correct sport and now all of a sudden they've turned on us. Bruv, they've been ripping fans off for years. Arsenal are probably one of the worst in the world. They charge the highest season ticket prices in the whole of Europe to show me Mohamed El Neni passing a ball backwards. We've definitely created the most training kits that I have ever seen in a football season, you know? And there you go. Big C, dealing with racism isn't profitable, fam. That's why they haven't solved it. 100%. And Sensibility here said, how have you made it about race? I haven't made the situation about race. What I'm talking about is these companies, they only deal with things that affect them. If it doesn't affect them, they leave it. They don't care. They'll sweep it under the carpet. What I'm saying is you're going to have two options. We either all go against it, which people are doing, all the powers that be, UEFA, FIFA, Premier League, government, they're all going against it. If they can get it stopped, they'll stop it. And we continue as normal. Cool. I've got no problem with that. We continue as normal. The game is in a strong place now. And people saying, hey, you sound like you're giving into it. No, I'm not. I'm not giving into it. What I'm saying is, what is the reality for football fans if it happens, right? If it happens, Are you guys all going to walk away from your team? Everyone who supports one of those teams in that Super League, right? I'm just asking you guys the question. If you support United, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, are you walking away from your club? Are you going to stop watching football, stop supporting? Because I'm being honest. I'm being honest. I don't think a lot of people will stop. You're too attached. I'm sorry. I know people on emotion right now will say, that's it. I'm done. I'll never watch Arsenal again. I'll never do this. Bro, I'll be honest with you, man. There'll be 60,000 in the Emirates. I know everyone's saying yes. I'm done. But let's keep it 100, man. I'm telling you, I think a lot of fans, when it all calms down, man will be watching it. What else are you going to do? We're so attached to football. I've been watching football since I was 2 years old. Do you know what I mean? Look, I will never stop watching Arsenal, people are saying. Come on, I'm just being real here, people. I'm not saying it's not about whether most people don't agree with it. Of course you don't agree with it, because you're qualifying teams that, number one, have not even earned qualification, right? Like Arsenal, one of the biggest, because all we've done here, we've allowed our owner to get away with absolute daylight robbery. Because if they created this competition and said, right, we're creating this massive competition that you need to get in the top 4 to get in this competition, right? And it's going to overtake the Champions League. We're going to manage it properly. I think people would be for it if that was the case, because I don't think the issue is the Champions League's going for this new revolutionary tournament. That's not the problem. To me, the biggest problem with this tournament being created is that the effect it will have on the domestic competition, because apart from winning the title and staying up from relegation, nothing else in the league is going to mean anything to those teams who are in the Super League. If Arsenal are 5th with 10 games to go, you might as well sack it off. You might as well start putting the kids out, because you can't win the league. And what does it matter if you finish 4th? You're still in that competition anyway. Champions League will disappear in a few years. Europa League will disappear. The sponsors will pull out of it because the viewing figures will disappear. Who's going to watch Europa League and Champions League if all the best clubs have got? And there you go. The fact of the matter is, we're all emotionally attached to our clubs, 100%. We're all emotionally attached, and I believe we'll all be there next season. We'll all be there next season doing watch-alongs. Man says F1, tennis, cycling. I mean, I can't survive on them sports, people. I got to be honest. I think the Premier League will eventually become a mixture of Championship and Prem teams, and that won't be great. We're going to get battered every week. I mean, we've got 300 million to spend, so you'd like to think not. Yeah, I'd like to think with 300 million to spend that we could survive in the league, you know. Going to be honest, for Arsenal, this is very good. Clubs rise and fall, but this establishes us as a super club. Now, listen, again, I'm not going to hold on 1 second. Plug this charger in. All right, there we go. This comment is very interesting, right? I'm talking to Arsenal fans in the community now. Arsenal being in this Super League, right? As it's wrong. It is wrong, and I'm telling you, it's wrong. I'm not saying it's against everything that we believe in, but for Arsenal, they've been given a piggyback to the top table without having to do anything. It's actually unbelievable that Arsenal are even in this competition. They've basically got Wenger, Henry, Ian Wright, all of them. They've got them to thank for being in this competition, because without the history, without the fan base, we wouldn't be anywhere near this competition. But we're lucky that they're just looking at it saying, right, put the biggest teams in this competition. And that's how they've got to the top table. Arsenal have gone from 8th in the league, doing nothing, going nowhere, and somehow this owner has got us 300 million a season and in the biggest competition that's going to be in the world, you know. It's crazy. I don't know how he's managed to pull it off. This is probably why they were saying, trust the process all season. You know, trust the process meant, listen, don't worry about this season that the team's so bad, it's unbelievable. Because next season, we're at the top table and we're rich. What I'm asking here, I see, man. Look, man, trying to put fake accounts in the comments. You know me, I'm a person. I just have very real conversations. People are now saying, "You need to get Kroenke out. You need to get Kroenke out." I'm telling you now, Kroenke is 100 times more difficult to get out now than he was 2 weeks ago before this got signed. He showed everyone. I don't care about the fans. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered what you lot say. There was a small protest at the Emirates yesterday. I think about 50 people were there. I've got to be honest. The energy towards Kroenke needed to be displayed a long time ago. Needed to be displayed. He's now one of the vice presidents on the board of the European Super League. He now owns Arsenal 100% outright. They're now going to start a Super League. Arsenal will get 300 million a season. They're talking about television deals with Amazon, Netflix, The Zone. He ain't going nowhere. He doesn't care. He doesn't come to games. He's hardly in England. There's a fans forum that Arsenal are doing on Thursday, right? There's a fans forum where a select few fans and membership groups will get to speak to Vinay. Stan Kroenke is not attending it. He doesn't care about the fans. He ain't turning up. He's like, whatever, man. I don't want to hear all that noise. I own the club outright. What are you going to tell me? Before, when he owned a percentage, he used to turn up because he knew certain people owned it and he had to just talk. Right now, 100% cool. He ain't going to say nothing. Bruv, this guy's so crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if he moved Arsenal. You know what I mean? This guy's capable of anything. He could move Arsenal out of London and say, you know what? I'm going to bring this team to America, put them in the MLS. Listen, anything is possible with this guy, people. And this is the problem. We've allowed this guy to get both feet under the table. He's firmly at the head of the dinner table. Feet tucked in, handkerchiefs there. He's got the whole 3-course meal. He can do whatever he wants to this football club. And this is the problem. We had the time with Usmanov. And the reality is, I'm just saying it as it is, people. I'm saying it as it is. There was a lot of issues, and I heard a lot of comments when people were talking about Usmanov. No, we can't sell to a Russian, and he's an oil owner, and this, that, the other. This is what a lot of people were saying, people. I'm going to be honest. People saying, yeah, keep Kroenke because David Dean introduced him, so therefore he must have the club's best interest at heart. We can't follow Chelsea. We'll be sacking managers every season. And unfortunately, the situation has spiraled and got out of control. And now we're in this situation. And he runs this football club now, inside out. Everything is his decision. Arsenal is about to be under Kroenke family rule for as long as they like. That's the reality of it. This move is checkmate. 100% checkmate, bro. 100%. People were saying before, you know, Kroenke's getting on. Maybe he'll get rid. No. What he did, why do you think he sent Josh Kroenke to London for about 6 months? He moved to London, right? He looked at all the books. He started working with staff. He's basically setting Josh up. He's going to say, when he's had enough and he's tired, he's going to say, Josh, right, that's yours now. I'll deal with the Rams and all this in America. You go and deal with Arsenal in London. So he's getting Josh prepared. So all these people that thought, you know, Stan's getting old, maybe he'll be tired and sell. He's passing that down to his son, bro. They signed a 23-year deal with the Super League. If this Super League starts, once it starts, you ain't getting rid of it. The only chance they've got is not letting it start in the first place. But if this starts, it ain't going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. So I know a few of you in the comments are having a bit of a go and saying, oh, it sounds like you're in support of it or you're not against it, this, that, the other. Listen, I came from lower league football myself. So I want the lower league and all these things to be protected. I want grassroots to be protected. My son is in the academy system now. I want a stable footballing environment for them to grow up in. Of course I do. But what I'm saying is, you've got to understand that the people running football now, they're not doing a good job. They've left themselves exposed to this situation. Do you know what I'm trying to say? This is what they've done. It's like going out with a girl for years and years and years. And you just think, because you've been with her for years, man, I mean, I don't need to take her out anymore. I don't need to treat her good. Because you just think you've got her, and next minute, bam, someone else comes and sweeps her away. You know what I mean? This is what these men are doing. When Bury FC were in administration, did the Premier League say, yo, let's come together, let's drop them a few million because we don't want to see lower league clubs being wiped out of business? No, they sat there and they said, that's not our problem, man. We got bigger things to deal with. If they wrap up, they wrap up. That was a whole football club. They had staff members who'd worked there for 30, 40 years. Did they care about that community? No, they never care about that. So these lot have allowed themselves. They've left themselves open for this. And we as fans, we can't control what happens in these situations. It's these bigwigs, man, with big money, you know? Big up Sladley, Nunes, Curtis. I totally understand this is wrong, but as a diehard Arsenal fan, this establishes us as a superpower for years to come. We are 8th in the Forbes list. Just imagine how high this will take us. I mean, it will. I mean, listen, the problem you face with this situation and why it's become so difficult. I read a statement today from Everton. Everton have come out and said, listen, we stand with the other 13, 14 Premier League clubs. We are totally against this. Let me tell you one thing, and I'm sorry, I hope this doesn't sound like slander against Everton Football Club, because I'm sure it's a great club. Do you think if Everton were invited into that league, they would have rejected it? Absolutely no chance on earth they would have rejected it. If Everton were told, there's 300 million, come and play in this Super League, you got big boy Carlo Ancelotti, they would have signed that pen and paper straight away. Leicester would have signed. All these teams crying about it, they would have all signed the paper. They're crying because there's a big party going off and they ain't got no invite. That's the reality, man. UEFA, big up Franny in the chat, man. Go and check out his channel. Said UEFA are the most corrupt organisation. They are now panicking as the money will go to the Super League. 100%. 100%. That's the problem. When the money gets moved, people start scrambling. London Gunners franchise incoming. I'm telling you, North London Red, man, Pro Evo settings. Joe Robottom said, you want to be in a league where the president owns one of the founding clubs. Corruption Super League, funnily enough. Real is in the most debt. Yeah, Real, Barcelona, those clubs there are the clubs that were struggling. So they wanted this situation. School Foggery said, got to be a realist with all of this to make your own sound decisions. It's all real talk. Listen, I'm just speaking facts. It's not about in favor or out of favor. I'm just looking at what happens if that situation occurs. And, you know, it's 50-50 at the moment. Let's be honest. They're going to do everything they can to try and stop it. But, yeah, a lot of these clubs, the Premier League, listen, man, you get invited, you would go. It's as simple as that. It's a classic pull the ladder up situation. I mean, some of you I know in the comments are probably American-based. And I feel like they're following some of these models in the Premier League that happen in America where there's no relegation. I saw a thing that UEFA said about Real Madrid and Liverpool. Obviously, Real Madrid played Liverpool in the last round. And apart from the final, when they played a couple of years ago, when obviously Bale with the bicycle, they were saying that Real Madrid and Liverpool haven't played each other for 7 years in the Champions League. And the point they were trying to make is they're saying in a lot of these other sports, particularly in America, they want the biggest clubs competing against each other on a regular basis. And obviously with the Champions League, the way it's set up, you can not play each other for years. You can be in different groups. You get knocked out. They get through. Do you know what I mean? So the way they're trying to do it, they want elite competition to be on a more consistent basis. But I just think the biggest problem with it, my biggest problem with it, I got to be honest, is the fact that you don't have to qualify for the tournament. That's where I think it's gone a bit like, well, you can just finish 10th in your league. You can finish bottom of the Super League and you'll continue to get picked every week. Midweek will be a party every week. Listen, I'm saying one thing about it. And listen, I've said this legit. those games, whether you like it or not, right? Whether you like it or not, I'm just speaking truth here, and a lot of people don't like this. Those games are going to be banging. I don't care what anyone says. Those games are going to be, they're going to be exciting to watch, man. Do you know what I mean? Let's be totally honest. You know, I've watched Arsenal v Dundalk this season. On Sunday, we had to watch Mohamed El-Neni refuse a through ball to Emile Smith-Rowe to play the ball back to his right back. That's what I've been watching. That's what we've been watching, right? Next season, fans will be able to go back and we're going to be watching mad games. But the problem is, it is this ladder situation. It's right. We're at the top of the mountain and we're going to leave everyone down there. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Football is the sport for dreamers, in my opinion. Football is the sport where the kid in the street who doesn't have anything can make it if he's got the talent. And it's the same thing with, like, you know, Leicester winning the Premier League. You have to have that element of anything can happen. That's what makes football so unique. And with this, you're taking it away because it's not going to happen. If all those clubs in the Super League are getting 300 million a season, you will never see a Leicester, a West Ham, an Everton, a Newcastle, a Southampton. You will never see those teams win the Premier League. And that's the problem. That's the problem with it. You're damaging the domestic competitions of football. The product in the Premier League will be massively watered down. And this is where the problem is. This is where the problem is. You know, they haven't considered that. They've just said, look, we're going to make this mad, powerful Super League, and then everything else can kind of suffer because we're going to make so much money because of it. And that's the problem. Football is a big gambling business, said James. Anthony said, Arsenal fans need to be real here. A Super League will come eventually, and when it comes in the future, we won't be part of it. At least we are part of it now. It's crazy. It's mad. Local fans will have to get used to the global fan base. We're here and we want to get to games. Yeah, because I see a situation where you'll see Premier League games or Super League games in America, in the Middle East, you know, in different parts of the world. And it's mad because I do think that the people in charge have allowed this to happen. It's their fault. It's their fault, to be honest, because this Super League shouldn't have been able to take it away from them. For example, one of my biggest problems in football as a football fan, I don't know what you guys think about this. You should be able to pay a monthly fee to watch your football team, in the sense that I shouldn't have to pay money for Sky Sports to see 3 or 2 Arsenal games a month. And then the other 3 games, I've got to get BT Sport. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to say, right, for £20 a month, there is a channel where I can watch all of Arsenal's games this month or every month. And you're a West Ham fan, you watch yours, bam, bam, bam. Do you know what I mean? But they've sat there and said, oh, you've got to pay this much money every month for Sky Sports, where maybe 2 Arsenal games will be on Sky. Then you've got to buy that. Then you've got to buy that. They are ripping off the fans to the maximum. And this is the problem. This is the problem. So when I'm talking like this, some people are in the comments saying, oh, it sounds like you're supporting it. No, I'm not supporting it. The people who are in charge of football, they've had the best opportunity. They've had over 2 decades to secure things. Listen to the fans. They didn't listen to the fans. They stopped listening to the fans because they had no competition. It's like back in the day when I was a kid, everyone played Pro Evo. Everyone played Pro Evo. But Pro Evo, they just sat there and thought, yeah, no competition, will never develop. FIFA came back with a better game. They had all the naming rights, all the clubs, all the kits. And everyone went, boy, man, Pro, you feel a bit washed up now. And everyone left and went to FIFA. No one's ever looked back since. This is what UEFA have done. This is what FIFA have done. On top of that, these guys have allowed all sorts of corruption to go off, you know? Yo, the Prem is English and we pay more than any other country to watch the league. Wake up. Bro, we can't watch 3 o'clock kickoffs. I went to the Caribbean last couple years ago. I'm watching 3 o'clock kickoffs on TV. I'm halfway across the world. I'm in the Caribbean watching Arsenal at 3 o'clock on TV. But when I'm in England, I can't watch a 3:00 kickoff, yet I'm paying more money than people in other countries. How does that work? How does that work? It's absolutely unbelievable the way they've ran this situation. They've been bullied by, listen, they're the big bullies. They've been bullying the kids, man, in the playground, and the bigger bullies turned up with more money. Yeah, I'm not in favor of it, believe me, but I will go along with it. I've got to be honest, and I'm just telling the truth. Will I walk away from Arsenal next season? No, I won't. I'll still be watching them games. I'll be at some of them games as well with the season ticket. I'll be making content. Everyone right now is real emotional. And it is exploitation. It is. It is. Unfortunately, number one, the fans don't have the power. Yeah. So all of us, we can all go against it now. The decision won't be changed because of the fans. It just won't. If they stop this, it will be because of governments, because of lawyers, because of court cases. That's the only way it can be stopped. The fans, we don't have a big voice in football at this moment. The problem is as well, for example, at a club like Arsenal, our fans are not very united. That's one of the biggest problems. I've seen teams like Liverpool and stuff like that. They have definitely fought back in the past. But Arsenal, we have still got this massive divide that kind of started with Arsene Wenger. Then it was like Ozil, then Emery, now Arteta. Oh, you Wenger in, Wenger out. Do you want Ozil gone or not? Arteta in, Arteta out. We've always had this divide. When we disagree with each other, people start criticizing each other. That's our fan base, unfortunately. But listen, I'm just talking the truth. Like here, Lion Sniper saying, use your channel for good, not to promote the league. I'm not promoting the league. I'm not promoting the league at all. How can I not see the wrong in it when I came up through the lower league football system? But I knew this kind of thing was happening. Like, we heard about a Super League years ago. If you're UEFA and FIFA 5 years ago, Arsene Wenger was talking about the Super League in 2002. He gave an interview talking about the Super League, right? UEFA and FIFA have known for over 15, nearly 20 years that this was a plan in the background, right? So what should UEFA have done? They should have said, right, we're going to make it easier to go and watch your team play football. So Champions League, Europa League games, you can't charge your fans more than this amount of money to watch a game. That should have been rule number one, right? There has to be a cap on ticket prices in our competitions. That would have got fans in favor, right? That's great. That's great. Number two should have been racial abuse on players, and not just racial abuse on any player. They're going to be harsher actions. We're going to ban fans. We're going to leave you with empty stadiums. We're going to give clubs big fines. If it continues, we're even going to take points away from clubs in competitions. You would soon see clubs wake up if that started to happen. They could have turned around and said, listen, there needs to be a cap on how much you can charge football fans for football kits. The FA, the Premier League could have implemented those things, right? You can't charge more than £40 for a football shirt because every year football shirts go up £5, £10. Kids' kits a few years ago were £30. You're paying £60, £70 for a kid's kit. Everything has got out of control. They haven't dealt with racism, with abuse, with the amount that you pay to watch them on TV, with that how much a ticket is. I wanted to go to Baku to watch Arsenal. I'm probably lucky that I didn't go to Baku to watch Arsenal. But they were charging £1,000 for a ticket at times. They don't care about the fans. They needed fans on board. If UEFA, the FA, the Premier League, FIFA would have looked after the fans for the past 15, 20 years, this situation could not have happened because no one would have accepted it. It wouldn't have been allowed. We wouldn't have even needed it. If they suggested it, we would have gone, we don't need that. You can't even create that because we're happy with the product we've got. The problem you've got now, so many people are not happy with the situation. As much as we all watch football and get on with it, if you said to the average football fan, are you happy with how much you pay on television to watch your football team? You'd go, no, I feel like I'm being ripped off. Are you happy? It's so expensive to go and watch an Arsenal game. It's so expensive. It's unbelievable. When Arsenal play Man United at the Emirates, a ticket is £100. £100 to watch Arsenal. Then you've got to travel to the game, maybe £10, £15 petrol, £10, £15, £20 for parking, £15 for food, £10, £15 for drinks. It's a £200 day out. If you want to take your kid, that's another £100 plus their food. You're looking at £300-400 to watch one game of football. And that's what these clubs have created. So to me, and I know a lot of people are saying it, like, look, disappointed in you watching the end of football. Listen, as bad as this whole situation is, football will carry on. Some people now are going, oh, football's finished, it's over. It's not. It's not. It will change. There will be people who will stop. There will be people who will stop going and will say, nah, I won't. But I'm telling you now, most people, we're so connected to the football club, we won't stop. We won't. Unfortunately, football's a massive part of us. And it's ingrained in us. Do you know what I mean? Look, when it was lockdown and they stopped the Premier League for 3 months, I was desperate to watch anything, even with no fans in there. Just show me some football to watch. This exploitation, and as you said, it's a rip-off. It's been going off for decades. It's not new. It's just gone to a higher scale. And the reality is, we are where we are, people. We are where we are. Are you going to walk away from it? Are you going to walk away from it? Why do people drink alcohol on a night out when they know it's bad for them? It's just part of the socializing, isn't it? And it's the product that people enjoy. Football now is becoming a product. It's like a movie. It's entertainment. It's television. It's not just that working man, working woman sport now that you could go and watch for cheap. It's going through the roof. It's more and more difficult to access, you know? And it's unfortunate. Listen, I know some people will be on to me in the comments because some people are saying, you know, it sounds like you're not against it, or it sounds like you're sort. No, I'm not supporting it. I'm not supporting. I was pleased with the way things were going, but a lot needed to change in football. Look at the referees in football. Look at the referees in the Premier League. We have the richest league in the world. And I would honestly say we've probably got the worst referees in football. It's an absolute shambles. VAR has been embarrassing in the Premier League. Like, I'm telling you, there's so much corruption in VAR. It's unbelievable in this country. You know, so much. You know, we watched Champions League last year. VAR wasn't that bad. VAR wasn't that bad. They bring it in the Premier League and we embarrass ourselves with it. You know, we're taking 3 minutes and then getting the decision wrong. You know, it's embarrassing. There's so many things wrong in football. So what I'm saying is, listen, the fans, of course, didn't want this to happen. Of course we didn't. But there's so many things that are wrong in football. They've allowed themselves to be in this situation. And they've turned up with the money. The Super League's been talked about for years. The pandemic has sped up their plan. And UEFA and FIFA have been caught flat-footed and they can't do anything. And the worst thing is now, UEFA are talking about the fans now. All fans of all the Premier League football clubs should go against it. Bro, stop using us to fight your battle. If you're going to win that battle, you go and win that battle and then come back and look after the fans. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't use fans to win your fight. This is the thing. You know, they're proper users, man, all of them. Thomas said Jurassic Park scenes as Gunnosaurus will be back driving a Bentley. Yo, can you imagine his wages when he comes back? Oh dear. Agree with you, Curtis. I'm too attached to the club to ever stop watching. Listen, some people are having a go at me in the comments. I'm fine with it, you know. I'm fine with it. I'm not a man who needs. I don't need someone else's opinion to influence mine. I got my own mind. You know, I don't agree with it. The way they've treated fans is disgraceful. But the reality is, if it happens, it's probably 50-50 at the moment. If it doesn't happen, cool, we keep it moving. But if it does happen, am I going to stop watching Arsenal? No, I'm not. If we can go to games next season, 60,000 fans, will I go to it? Yeah, I probably will. Yeah, probably will. Because you know what? I've missed watching football and I support the club. And listen, it sounds harsh. It sounds a bit fickle to say that, but it's just the reality. I love football. I don't play at a top level anymore. So for me, watching football is the next best thing. And I would go to it. I would go to it. I would like to see how many people genuinely stop watching football next season, or stop watching Arsenal if you're an Arsenal fan, or United or whatever. I'm just talking the truth. I'm talking the truth, people. We'll be there, man. I'm telling you. Real Captain said, I will still be watching all the games, being totally honest. I'm telling you, man. Jared said you should stop. What? Yeah, but should I? Why should I? Why should I? How different is it from buying a top from a company that, for example, they've been companies in the past where they've said there's been exploitation to their workers who are making their clothes. They've used racial slurs against people before, but I bet people still buy those brands. Everything is a brand, unfortunately, in society, It's the harsh reality of football. Football's been going like this for a long time, Big up Curved Glass 30. Wow, 30, I didn't even realize. I've been so caught up. 1,300 in the chat. Big up for your support. Smash a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We talk the truth here, people. It's open discussion. I'm just going to talk the real, because I agree with people fighting against it, and I'm more than happy to fight against it. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people who are on social media going, that's it, I'm done. I'll never watch Arsenal again. And these are the guys that will be at the game next season. I'm just going to tell you how it is. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why it's happened, because the people in charge have not looked after business and looked after the fans who are the life force behind this situation. And now they're reaping what they sow. And now they want to use that. Now they want the fans to fight the battle for them. It's crazy, man. I agree with you, Curtis. Listen, not everyone has to agree. I've got no problem if people say I think you're wrong. Cool. I got no problem. Give me your reasons and we'll have an open discussion, people. It's not a problem. Big up Troy said, you remind me of Jeff Goldblum from The Great White Hype after meeting Samuel L. Jackson in the bath. Yo, man, like Jeff, Facts, Curtis. The ones making all the noise will be the first ones at the game. Bruv, you know how the thing goes already, man. Sometimes we have, and I'm not saying, sometimes, you know how it goes, man. Sometimes that the popular opinion, they'll shout it the loudest, but they'll, when it comes to action, man will do something else. It's just the reality, people. It's the world we live in, money over everything, and it's disgusting, but this is football. It's business. It's become business. The stakes are so high. Let's look at the Champions League. Champions League is the biggest football club competition in the world. Manchester City, owned by one of the richest owners in the world. Chelsea, owned by an absolute multi-billionaire, one of the richest. Real Madrid, who I think the King of Spain has got, helps Real Madrid, so you can't get much more backing than that. And PSG, Qatari owners, huge money. Who's top of the Premier League? Manchester City, richest owners in the Premier League. Money talks in football right now, people. Money talks. So it's only going to get bigger. The wages will get bigger. The transfer fees will get bigger. That's the reality. O'Malley, big up for the super chat, man. Said Pep was so right about the Premier League, UEFA and FIFA. The small club said no to 5 subs in the Prem. The big 6 were playing 3 games a week. UEFA's useless international friendlies, all selfish. There's always going to be a divide between those at the top and those fighting to get to the top. The teams in the lower part of the league, they only wanted 3 subs because they said, we haven't got the squad to bring on 5 quality players where Man City can bring on 5 top players. So they said it's a disadvantage to the lower players, to the lower clubs. And you're always going to have that divide, You're always going to have that divide of the big clubs and the little clubs. It's as simple as that. If these managers feel that strongly about it, then they should walk as well, shouldn't they, if they're totally against it? Danny Football, thank you for the super chat, said, Curtis, American Gooner here. European Super League, similar to American model, is concerning because American sports ratings are down, not up. Take a look at the NBA and NFL. Yeah, and do you know what? Anyone who's in America, man, especially, give me your opinions on this as well. You know, what you think about it and what the sporting model is like over there in America. Do you think it works with some of the systems where you have no relegation and things like that? From Scotland, support Arsenal. Yeah, man, big up. Moses said exactly, Curtis. People keep forgetting the fact money is important in modern day football. It is at the top level. At the top level, man, it's become all about money, you know? Neymar said he left Barcelona to go to PSG to win the Ballon d'Or. Probably more had to do with the fact they nearly trebled his wages. Do you think if PSG said, all right, we'll match what you're getting at Barcelona, he would have took it? Of course he wouldn't. You know? Of course he wouldn't. Clincy said, hi, Curtis. My dad is a massive Liverpool fan. Last night didn't even bother to watch the match because of the European Super League news. He seems defeated. It's very, very difficult for people. Change is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. You know, and it will always unsettle people. But I think the biggest problem with this one is it feels like it's only a positive change for a select group of football. And that's where the problem is, you know. That's where the problem is. That it's not the whole sport that's being looked after. Joel said, I'm in America and it does. Players will get more money with European Super League. They saw how their wages were furloughed due to COVID. USA, I think the system will work out better in football because the sport is much more popular, okay? Thanks for your opinion. Should we even care about Europa now? I mean, that's the thing. We was like, yo, we need to win Europa to get Champions League. Champions League means nothing. Me personally, I would still love Arsenal to win it because a European trophy, and I'm pretty sure Man United will be in the final. So there would still be a lot of bragging rights. Remember that Van Persie red card. Pure cheating. At one stage, Barcelona had UEFA in their back pocket, you know. You couldn't knock them out. There was cheating so much. We need you, Curtis, to preserve the competitive nature of football. Yeah, don't worry. I'll still be going mad on the watch-alongs, man. We're still here, people. We move, man. We move. This is what I'm saying. I don't want fans. And listen, someone said they don't talk for all fans. I'll never talk for all fans. Come on. I'm giving you my opinion. You guys will tell me what you think regardless. I don't want fans to feel like if this happens or not, that I have to leave my club. I have to stop supporting something. You know, football has a massive effect on people in terms of mental health, physical well-being, socializing, you know, going to games and meeting people, talking or coming on podcasts like this and other channels and socializing and talking. I don't want fans to feel like if this happens, football stops. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to say, listen, man, if it changes, it changes. We're not going to be happy about it. We didn't want it to happen, but listen, we don't let them take away something that we're passionate about, that we enjoy. You know, there probably aren't that many things. People don't love that many things in football. Your family, your friends, you know, anything like that. But don't let them take football away from you. You know, if you're an Arsenal fan, keep supporting Arsenal, man. You don't have to buy the merch. You don't have to go to the games. Watch your team, man, and enjoy your team. It's the reality of football. We've watched our team at rock bottom over the past few years. You know, why should we stop supporting our team? That's what I'm saying. We don't have to line their pockets. We don't have to buy the merch. We don't have to, you know, pay for anything, pay for tickets. But I'm not going to let them stop me from supporting my team. That's how I kind of look at it. You know, we don't have to support it. But I'm a still support Arsenal. I'll be watching the games on TV and I'll be going to some of the games. That's just the reality, man. Man said, I'm going to watch Tipping Point. Yo, Tipping Point's lit, bruv. I love that program, by the way. I know it's like the big arcade game, innit, where you put the coins in. You used to put the 10p in. Tipping Point is a proper TV program. But yeah, life and everything in it changes all the time. It's about how we adapt. You make a great point, bruv. We're coming out of one of the most serious points of life. This is like like a war. We've been at a war against a virus. It hasn't been a war as in people going and bombing each other's countries, but this is something that will be talked about for years and years to come. A pandemic. We've literally sat down basically for the past 12 months. We've been denied football, seeing family, doing all sorts of social things that we enjoy. Football's back. Supporters will be able to start going back. If it changes to Super League or whatever, if we continue with the old Premier League setup and we just keep it as it was, why should we not go and enjoy watching our team on TV or going to the game, seeing our friends? Keep it moving. That's all I'm saying, in my opinion. No one has to listen to me. You will make your own choices. Some of you will feel so strongly about it that you're done. You don't want to watch your team. You don't want nothing to do with it. But me, just my opinion, don't let these people take away your club, your passion, your enjoyment because they're moving us into a different league or whatever. We're still going to have the Prem. We're still going to have the FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Don't watch the Super League if you don't want to support that competition. That would be my advice. It's down to all of you. You're all your own people, of course. But that's just my little speech. You know what I mean? Chris says, well said, Curtis. I respect you saying your unfiltered opinion regardless of what everyone else thinks. I completely agree with you. Listen, I don't even do it for everyone to agree with me. I'm not one of them people. If you follow me on social media, I say plenty of things that I know people won't agree with. But I'm about my own opinion, and I spread that message to anyone. Stand by what you believe in. Not everyone's going to agree with you in life. As long as you have reasons to justify your opinion, that's my only thing. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, but in my opinion, don't let them take away something that you enjoy, you know. Troy, big up for the super chat, said after Spanish and Italian clubs gain the most, 10th in the Prem, now safe for 23 years. If it doesn't go through, Kroenke will sell. Win-win for Arsenal. That's a good point, you know. He may leave if it doesn't go through. Because he may look at it and say, you know what, 300 million a year you've just cost me. He could leave. That could be the silver lining, you know, that he would go. Love your football, love your club because football will always be football. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? They'll play in different countries, different teams, but this is your football club, man. Just watch streams, get to watch the team, but don't line the pockets of the leechers. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Listen, people always get me on that 424 hoodie, innit? You bought merch. It was a one-off, man. They drew me in. I like that. I love that hoodie. I'm not going to lie. They drew me in. But I'm sure my hoodie is not... it's nothing compared to the 300 million that the Super League are giving them. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. You're right still. But hey, Curtis, how's it going, bro? Sorry for joining late. No worries. No competition, no football. How can you watch games knowing it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day? No qualification, relegation. Yeah, but there will still be... All right, let's say in this sense, you've still got the Prem. Obviously, apart from winning it, nothing else really counts. You still got the FA Cup. You still got the Carabao Cup. They will fade even more. The Super League is difficult because, yeah, you can only win it. You can't get relegated out of it. So unless you're first, nothing else really means anything. But it's still... It is basically the Emirates Cup. But on the day, you will still feel that, like, yo, Arsenal against Barca. I want Arsenal to beat Barca and these ballers on the pitch. I will still enjoy just watching the football, even though, yeah, the competition will not have the same level of passion. I don't think you'll see me jumping around the screen, but I will enjoy the football still because I'm a football fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. I want to see quality football. So I get it, you know, but, yo, bread is bread and cheese is cheese, man. You know what I mean? Said Mourinho, you know. Listen, I've been banging on about this for over an hour. I had a couple of other things to talk about. I appreciate all your opinions. And listen, as I said, you don't have to agree with my opinion all the time. You may not agree with everything. Let's have an open discussion about it. That's what I want on this channel. But I appreciate all of your feedback. Much appreciated. Let me quickly talk about a couple of things that, before I get out of here, that we may not be arguing on as much this time, you know. The first one is Arsenal are in advanced talks with Brighton to sign goalkeeper Matt Ryan on a permanent deal. An Arsenal source told the Football Insider discussions to convert the loan into a full-time transfer are progressing well. We are expected to be finalised. So Matt Ryan looks like he will join the club on a permanent deal, which I think is good news. I think he's a good backup keeper. To say we went from Emi Martinez down to Alex Runarsson, I'm very happy that we're back up to Matt Ryan, who I think is a very sufficient second choice goalkeeper. You know, I think he's a good goalkeeper to have as a backup. Apparently, the plan was always to take him on a permanent, so I'm happy with that. I think he's a very good backup keeper, and for me, I'm happy. Issa said he's better than Leno. I mean, listen, he might be. He needs a chance to prove himself. So Matt Ryan on his way to Arsenal on a permanent deal. The next bit of news, let me just get these bits of news up before we get out of it. One thing that was about the Super League, apologies, wrong one. Let me get the next one up. This was about Mikel Arteta. Right, here we go. So Arteta. Football London has also learned that the club's staff, manager Mikel Arteta, and members of the first team have been left frustrated at not being told about Arsenal's inclusion in the Super League before the official announcement was made. They probably feel a bit mugged off by that. You know, but you're the manager of the football club and you don't know nothing about it. If that's true, I mean, how do you guys believe that? Do you think that Mikel Arteta knew nothing about this situation and they've just sprung it on him at the last minute? I don't know. I get the impression that the owners kept it quiet because I think they didn't want to tell staff and managers and players in case it was leaked. If you're a player, you're going to tell your brother, your dad, your mum. You know, they tell the wrong person and that gets spread. And the whole story blows up before they announce it. And obviously, they only signed the contracts on Saturday, and they announced it on Sunday. So yeah, maybe these guys didn't know, but Arteta would always back the club, I'm sure. Anyway, so apparently there was a meeting yesterday, Vinay and the players, and apparently players weren't happy. But listen, not many players have got a leg to stand on. Most of them are poor anyway. No, we don't think we're forgetting you, man. Drew with Fulham at home last minute and started celebrating like we just won the cup final. You know what I mean? Arteta knew about it. I reckon he probably did. Big up Social DRG. Thank you very much for becoming a member on the channel. Much appreciated. And like I said, plans to make this channel bigger and better. I've got interviews lined up for the summer with ex-footballers and current footballers. So going to try and bring you guys some great content over the summer as well. So appreciate your support on the membership. With the money, Curtis, it forces Kroenke to spend. I mean, you would like to think that because we all know this 300 million, he can't bump us off now and say we ain't got no money to spend, you know. But will that happen? I doubt it very much. And let's finish on this final one. Leeds and Crystal Palace are interested in signing Ainsley Maitland-Niles this summer. The article I've read is that Arsenal apparently want around £20 million to sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Apparently, he's been very happy at West Brom, despite the fact they are struggling and fighting for relegation, just due to the fact that he's playing consistently. He's playing in midfield. Personally, 20 million for me is I would try and get a little bit more. He's 23 years of age. He plays for Arsenal and he's an England international. And he's very versatile. I tell you what, two things that spring to mind for me. I'm looking at Crystal Palace and I'm looking at Leeds and thinking, could you get a Rafinha? Could you get an Eze or a Zaha out of Palace? Obviously, we'd probably have to pay some money as well. But hey, in this market, it may be good. It may be good to use him for a swap deal off one of them clubs. I think 25 million. I think 25. Or maybe a 20 mil with a sell-on clause, you know. Big C, what's your plans for the Euros? I mean, I'm looking to try and go to one or two of the games and maybe do a vlog. But if not, I'm going to do watch-alongs. Definitely do watch-alongs and do roundup shows and reviews and things like that. Loads of content coming this summer. Loads. Omar said, take it. Take the 20 mil. The Parasite won't even spend 200 million. Probably won't out of that 300. 25 million a sell-on clause. I mean, that would be great. Ez's a baller, bro. Definitely better than Mohamed El Neni, who dropped to 0 out of 10 against Fulham. So Ainsley could be on his way out. Opinionated Guna said Zaha is done now. I think we were linked with him a few weeks ago, you know. I feel a bit sorry for Ainsley because I do think he's got talent. He's just never established himself properly in any position. I think he wants to play centre mid, and I don't think Arsenal see him as a centre mid, although he can't do much worse than what Mohamed El Neni did the other day. So looks like Ainsley is on his way out of Arsenal. Which team you reckon will win the Euros? I think France, but I think Portugal and Belgium are probably the other two. I think there's a bit of a golden generation in that Portuguese team now with João Felix, Ruben Diaz, Bruno Fernandes. They've got some really good players coming through. So I think Portugal will be very dangerous. And they're the holders of the Euros, of course, as well. But listen, fantastic show as always today. Really appreciate you all coming on. 2:30 tomorrow. Lee Judges is on here. The judge is on. You dirty little... let's find out what he thinks about the Super League. Get his opinions. That'll be at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you join me for that. And then from Thursday, we'll be building up to the Everton game, which, of course, is on Friday evening, 8 p.m. kickoff. Thank you for all your fantastic feedback today. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Membership is available as well. And I'm sure we'll be talking about the Super League again tomorrow, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. I'm out. Bless.